Okay, we are now doing this next challenge right here. This is the other quick wins scheduled task. So basically, if they have scheduled tasks, you can check the permission of that scheduled task, and if you can exploit whatever that task is running, whatever bat file or script it's running, and insert your own malicious code or command, then you could get a reverse shell or have it do other things. So let's move over here. I use free RDP to RDP in. Let me do a Control Alt Enter. That will allow me to minimize my screen so that I can bring that up. Let me go ahead and bring that up for you. No, that's not it. Here it is. Okay. So you put in this command sudo free RDP, then the username, password. I'll put in the description. Perhaps you didn't watch my last video, but this is the software you would use. If you don't have FreeX RDP installed, you can go ahead and follow my last video so you can get that installed. All right. So here we go. We're going back to the Windows machine. Control Enter. Make that full screen. So here we have scheduled task command we run, and we are looking for a specific task here. This is going to be you'll see it actually has a task being filled out here. Where is it? Well, if you go through that list, you'll see that there is a scheduled task. Let me go ahead and scroll down here. That they provided us, so we don't have to go through that whole list, but if I can find it. Ooh. Yeah, vol task. And then we ran this command. We're able to see the task name, vol task. We're able to see the last runtime. Okay. And task to run, it runs this bat file. So, okay, now we know that it runs a bat file. Now we got to check to see the permissions on that bat file. So go ahead and go back up here to where my last command was. Here it is. All right, so then you run this command, iCackles, and then you point it to the bat, and you can see that built-in users can have full control over that bat file. So then we inject some malicious commands here that will start a reverse shell. So we do echo point to netcat, and then we input the command we want it to run, which is the reverse shell to the attacker's IP, and then we insert that into the bat file scheduled task.bat. So when we input that, and I put my TryHackMe IP and the listening port I open, so you can click Control Enter here. Go ahead and bring up your terminal, which I believe is one of these. Probably this one. Nope, that's not it. This one. Yeah. So here you can see I did netcat, started listener on 9999, and then that's my reverse listener, and then here I ran the scheduled task, vol task. When vol task ran, it then executed the command with the reverse shell. The reverse shell then allows me to gain connection, so that's what's happening here. Once I had connection, I did who am I, and it shows I'm W privilege escalation 1. So then I was like, great. I did a dir. That listed the directories for me, and it gave me a lot of directories, so don't do that. Save yourself the time, don't do that. And just scroll down at the bottom, you'll see I did a who am I again. I checked to see where the users folder was, and you can just cd into the users folder. So you would input, yeah, so you just cd users. Then when you're in the users folder, you know that you're trying to get into task user one's folder because that's what they tell us in the directions. So then I'll just go ahead and try task user one. If you try any of the other ones, you get access denied like I did here. So cd task user one, dir, then you go into the desktop folder, and then after the desktop folder, um, you will see the flag here. So then I did type, and then the flag down here, actually it's right here, and then that's what you're gonna go ahead and copy over here. And you just put that in there. So you complete this, and that's the end of that. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is going to be here. And I'll put the commands in the comment section so you can easily type them in if need be. All right, abusing service misconfigurations. Okay, so once you RDP into the remote host, you're going to see that you're going to run the SCQC Windows scheduler. So we're going to query the Windows scheduler. We're going to see that its binary path is here and the service start name is here. Then we're going to run the second command, iCackles, and then this for the binary path, and we can see that everyone is able to modify it. With that said, we're able to modify this service exe, and we're going to modify it so that we have a reverse shell that will start when we run it. So once we get that reverse shell onto this computer, we'll go ahead and put in this path and do a few more other things so we can get that reverse shell running. So I just control entered, went over to my computer. I ran this command here, and I use msf venom to create my payload, which will I'll put on the remote host. And you want to input your IP address here. If you don't know what that is, you can do an ifconfig, and it's going to be the last one. So it's going to be your tunnel 0 IP address. And then your port, which in this case, we're just standardizing it to 4445. This is what we're going to put on the victim computer and run from the victim computer so it could connect back to our computer. This is the name of it, and it should be outputted in whatever location you're currently in. So if I do pwd, you'll see I'm my home Kali. So if I go to my home Kali, I will find my rev dot tac svc exe. This is the exe I'm going to get onto the Windows computer. So let me go ahead and get that started. All right, now from the victim's computer, control enter. That should bring you to full screen. Once you're at full screen, it does say to run the rest of this command in PowerShell. So go ahead and open up PowerShell now. All right, we'll wait for that to open and start. Okay, so now we're going to run the following command that they give us here. I'm going to just copy that, paste it over here. All right, we got to change a few things here. We will change the IP address of that. I'm going to do a control enter so we can see what my IP address is. Whoops. Come on. Okay, this is like still in full screen or something. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's see. I think I still have that terminal up. Here we go. So that's it right there. Copy. Go back here. Go ahead and enter the IP address in here. What am I doing? There we go. Okay, that's the IP address. 800. We'll see if that works. Of course, we have to start our Python 3 web server. Let me get that going. So no, not there. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna start Python 3. There you go. Server 8000 is what we had there. All right, it's listening. Come back over here. You will then run this command, see if it pulls it or not. Okay, so it should be here. What we're going to do is we are going to dir, see if we have it here. Yes, it is. It's right there. Perfect. Let's go ahead and finish the rest of this. It's saying to move. Let's move it back up. Okay, so it looks like we're going to the programs. It looks like we're going to the path of the file and we're moving it. All right, let me try this out. One sec. All right, it looks like they tell us to CD into that folder with the good executable. Right now, we're gonna make it into an evil executable. So we're gonna CD to that from here. If I can get the CD command to copy over. Might just be slow because it was being slow earlier. Might just need to type it in then. Okay, I'll just type it in, no big deal. Or actually I wasn't, it's like I wasn't copying the right stuff here. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. All right, so copy. No, doesn't look like it wants to let me copy that in, no worries. See. All right, so now we're in that folder. We're then gonna type move. And by the way, this is PowerShell, so you don't have to worry about capitalization like you do have to worry about with Linux. I guess that's the nice part, right? So it could be lowercase or uppercase, doesn't matter. Here, what we're doing is we're essentially taking that good exe, we're putting the BKP in it, basically renaming it and making it unrecognizable to the program, so it will not here we go. Did I take the copy one? Yeah, it will not execute that one. Instead, it will execute ours. It has the same effect as if we kind of just deleted it, but we're renaming it, so. Okay, now we're checking the permissions of it. So we just moved the malicious file to the folder where it's supposed to execute from. So now we are adjusting the permissions. Giving everyone full access to it. All right, let me just check for typos because I think I might have made a mistake here. All right, well, there's no way of checking besides us. One successfully processed, failed process 0 files. Okay, so we had one successful process. All right, cool. So it's saying attack. Okay, so from the attack computer, we have to make sure that we have a netcat running. Let me make sure I have my netcat running for this. So I have my HTTP web server running. We no longer need that. So now we can go ahead and run the netcat on 4445. This was the port that we specified in the payload to be listening from. So when we run the scheduler, it will therefore run our malicious payload. All right, I'm stopping the scheduler process. I'm going to start the scheduler process. The Windows services will see this, stop the process, restart it, therefore rerunning the exe, which therefore will run the malicious exe and get us our reverse shell, hopefully. Let me type enter here. I'd be lucky if it does, because I always run into issues. All right, let me see. Got anything here? All right, looks like we ran into an issue. Let me start with the scheduler. I might have to double check this. I might have messed up somewhere. So, all right, I think I figured out the error there. It looks like I got too excited, typed too quickly. It needs to be SC start Windows scheduler, which I didn't type in correctly. Of course, I do my typos all the time. Let's see if we got anything. This is the moment of truth. Nope, not good. We do not have a reverse shell connection. So I must have done something wrong. So that's awesome. All right. Oh, man, I hope this. Okay, figure it out. Oh, it was that I was running it on the command prompt, and it worked, right? So they do say in the directions, run this from the command prompt. I didn't listen. So yeah, if you run this from the command prompt, you will get it. So start Windows scheduler. Well, first I stopped it, and then I started it, and then after I started it, it gave me the reverse shell I needed. So if I check my reverse shell, boom, I'm in. If I do who am I, it will show I am privileged escalation user. Pretty cool. All right, so let's cd into this desktop folder. So let's see here. We are. Where does it say the flags at? Because I'm not good at following directions. I'm probably gonna mess this up. Yeah. So cd /users/sv CUSR1 desktop. And then if I do DRR, we're going to do type flag1 txt. You got your first flag there. So at your service, I'm going to copy that. We will paste that into the thing here. All right, so we got the first flag. All right, great. All right, so next we're going to do that next flag. Let me just get my notes down. All right, so for the second flag, unquoted service path. So essentially what we're doing is we're checking the SCQC VNC server path here. So the binary path name here. So this one has some quotes around it. That's how it's supposed to look like. You can see this one doesn't have quotes around it. And so whenever Windows sees a line like this without quotes, what ends up happening is the program will just read this, and then once it gets to like a space like here, or a special character or something of that sort, it will stop processing right here. And most of the time it prompts an error. But here, in this case, it would run this like it shows here in this table, where it would run this portion, stop, and then try to execute that. And if it can't, then it'll run this portion and then try to execute that. And if it can't, it'll run this portion and try to execute this. Okay. The way that we can exploit this is if we can get it to, this is the correct path rate, right? But if it stops over here, what we can do is we can create a malicious dis.exe, and it will stop and run our malicious dis.exe instead of running this disk srs.exe. So what it's asking us to do here is to check its permissions and see what it can run as. Then we're essentially doing the same thing, except we're calling this program. Let's see here. What's the name of this one? Oh, here's the name of it. Yeah. So then we're moving it from our desktop to the program's dis.exe. And then we're granting that full control. We're then stopping service and restarting it. And then that'll give us our reverse shell. All right, so let me go ahead and try that. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna clear this. Actually, hold on, let me make sure I got my notes good. Yeah, I got my notes. All right, so I'm just gonna type clear. Oh, that wasn't it. Okay, just exit, or you can just, let me see, exit, see if it exits that. Yeah, so exit out of that, and I'm gonna type clear. Right, so we're getting ready for our next challenge. We still have some of the stuff up from our last one, so we'll just go ahead and clear all that out. We'll still use the same exe, I believe. I think we can still use that one. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to run through it. So verify. Okay, cool. So I just want to clear all that. And then on this one, we can just close this out now. So we don't need that open. We're starting off from scratch, so I'll just go ahead and clear this as well, rather than restarting everything. All right. CLS, clear screen. All right. All right, so I did my SQQC disk order enterprise. We can see that this comes up, and we can see that it doesn't have the quotations, so therefore it is vulnerable. And we can go ahead and check the permissions. We can see that users, administrators, full, and right. Built-in user has AD and WD privileges, allowing the user to create subdirectories and files respectively. Process of creating an exe service payload with an venom and transferring it to the target is the same as before, so feel free to use the payload, use the following payload as we did before and set the same listener. Okay, cool. So it's saying we can use the same payload, basically do the same thing. So we'll just go ahead and run the same commands. Let me go ahead and start my listener on my Kelly box. So Control Enter. Let me go over to my Kelly screen. Oh, I should probably just minimize these. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just type it in. 3 web server. All right, so I started my web server. Go ahead and go over to the Windows machine. And they told us to use PowerShell before, so I'm gonna use PowerShell. Wesh. All right, then we're gonna type in the following. See if I can get it to work this time. Yeah, worked. Able to connect to remote server. All right, hold on. Python 3. Oh, snaps. That's probably right there. So no, it's supposed to be on 80,000. There we go. All right, let me run this now. Okay. 8,000. Good, we got it over. Thinking about it, I didn't have to do that because the payload was still there. Okay. No, actually, no, didn't we move it? Yeah, we moved it, so it wasn't there. All right. All right, let's start the netcat listener on our Linux box. So we no longer need this. So we'll just start the NC, and we're listening on port, was it 4545, I believe? Let me check my, yeah, 4445. 445, okay. All right, we're listening on that port. We'll go back over here. Then we're moving the payload from our desktop to the to the My Programs folder. And are we using command prompt to do that? It doesn't say. Okay. So I guess you could use either or, really. Well, okay. Move. Okay, so I figured out why it's not working. So if I actually go to the users sim unpriv folder, we'll see this is rev-svc. That's not svc with the 2 in it, is it? So the one I have has a 2 in it. So that's the example they gave us. We didn't have to create a second one. They told us we could use the same one, so this should work now, and it worked. Let me go ahead and copy that over for my notes. There we go. Alrighty, so now that we have that copied over, let's see here. We're just gonna grant everyone permissions to that copy folder. All right, that ran successfully. Okay, and then we're gonna run the next command from the command prompt, because I've always messed this up. So let's go to the command prompt here. I'm gonna grab this command. That's gonna stop the process and then restart it so it can run our malicious executable. It's not wanting to take that. All right, I guess I'm just gonna type it in. Or I could probably just click up here. Okay. All right, so here's one of our last commands. I'm just gonna type in what I want here. Stop. There we go. Just hit this. Start. All right, there we go. So now if we Control Enter, hopefully we have that shell, and we got that shell. So who am I? SVC user 2. Okay, let's go ahead and cd into the user, to the C users. Look at the instructions here. Okay, so that's where it's at. Okay, SVC user 2 / desktop. All right, so I just seed into that user's desktop, dir. We can see that flag on their desktop. We are going to literally type that, and then flag.text. And this is our second one, them quote everywhere. So that's the second flag. Great. Get the flag on the administrator's desktop. Okay, cool. So next, we're gonna run this next one, which is insecure service permissions. Okay, and everybody is. All right, so you might still have a slight chance of taking advantage of a service if the service executable DACL is well configured and the service binary path is rightly quoted. Should the service DACL not, the service executable DACL allow you to modify the configuration of a service, you will be able to reconfigure the service. This will allow you to point to any executable you need and run it with any account you prefer, including system itself. To check for a system DACL from the command line prompt, you can use access chk for system internal suite. For your convenience, a copy is available on C tools. This command to check with them service DACL. Okay, so we're modifying the DACL, or we were reconfiguring the service. So the account running it is system. So let's see. Okay, so we're reconfiguring the service. Oh, right. Okay. We're reconfiguring the service, having it point to our malicious executable. Yeah. And so we're going to type this to check its DACL first, and then we're going to create our payload, start the listener, then give everybody access to it, and then we're going to configure it. And if you look at the bin path, it will point to the malicious rev-svc.exe. Don't put a 3 because we're not remaking the payload. We're just going to use the same payload. So they put 3 in there. We're not going to put a 3 in here. So then restart service, and then since we reconfigure it to point to our malicious payload, it should run. Okay, cool. I just had to reconfirm that. All right. So we can just leave this up. As for starting Python 3, we don't need to do that. Netcat, we can just exit this, and we can run netcat again to start listening on that port. We already have the payload over, so we don't have to redo that portion. And then we're going to go over to the Windows machine. We're going to then type these into the command prompt. I believe it's the best place to do that. So let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and just copy this. All right, so I'm going to copy the commands they provide us here. Let me just get this started here. Go. Copy. Enter. Oh, okay. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to move over to the folder with the system internals access check tool. So we'll CD over to that. And if I do it dir, you'll see they have the systems checks exe. So what we're doing now is we're basically passing this command to check the DACL. Right, agree. And when we do that, built-in users have all access. So that's under service all access. Where is that? I kind of want to find it here. Here it is. Service all access, built-in users. That's not good. All right. So we have our payload on here. We are then going to take their commands we have here for come on, copy it, copy, paste, come back over here, the SVC, that's going to be set to just SVC because we already have the same payload. System can't find the specific file. Oh, you know what? I think we moved it, right? Yeah, we did move it. Okay, so we have to do, okay, so we have to transfer the payload real quick. Not a big deal. All right, let me Control Enter. Should be quick. Come back over here. Listening on 445. We'll go ahead and stop that listening. Safe. Start our Python server. We'll come back over here. I think I still have Python open, hopefully. Add do. All right. So we will grab the file we need real quick. All right. And now that we have the file we need, we'll come back over here. We'll run that same command. All right, process successfully that time. SC, all right, so now we'll go ahead and insert some malicious configuration here. Yeah, so it says success, but we're gonna have to change that because, right, it's the SVC is actually doesn't have a 3 in it. So there we go. Now it's successful. Okay. All right, now we're gonna stop and restart the service. We're gonna have to go back on our Kelly machine and make sure that we have our listener ready to go. So we're just going to stop this. Listener's ready to go. Come back over here. Take this command. All right, see if that worked. If it didn't, I probably missed a step. Yeah, I'm in. All right. Heck yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and CD. This is coming for the administrator's desktop. So it should be user slash cd slash users slash administrator slash desktop. All right. TR. All right, and we're going to type flag.text. And then that's our last flag right there. All right, so I put that last flag in and we are good to go. The biggest issue here was just remembering that we never actually remade a payload like this one. So our EV-SVC is, that's the name, right? It doesn't have a 3, it doesn't have a 2, that's just it right there, exe. All right, so that's that. All right, and I'm kind of happy. Next one's gonna be a new machine, so I was in a rush to finish this within the allotted time, and we got it done. All right, so let me go ahead and exit out of that. All right, till next time, please like and subscribe. This video did take a good minute to make. All right, appreciate you guys.